Why I love remote cleaning. So firstly, what is remote cleaning? So it's essentially running a cleaning business completely remotely without needing to have a local office. So in this video, I'm going to take you through some of the key things that I looked at when I set up my own cleaning business now over 10 years ago. I think it is a fantastic business to be involved with and a great side hustle or a great way to make additional income. If you are currently in your 9 to 5, this provides us with a really great low risk opportunity to eventually leave that job and to become a full-time entrepreneur. So let's jump straight into it. So, firstly, there's been a lot of recent interest in the cleaning industry, primarily because of what has obviously happened through the period since COVID. So there's lots of people looking at the cleaning industry, really valuing what cleaners do and the service that we provide. And actually, with this wave of interest, I think it has really helped, with things like pricing and being able to charge a high price for our services as well. So there's really a wave of interest in the cleaning industry since COVID has been. And obviously alongside with that, when COVID meant that people weren't able to come into the office and work and had to work remotely from home, essentially the remote cleaning model merges these two parts, the wave of interest with the cleaning industry and COVID together with remote cleaning. And my own cleaning business, we started over 10 years ago, but many of the things that were benefits or positives when I viewed the industry back then still apply today. So let's go through some of the key things that I thought were really interested in the business and why I continue to love the remote cleaning model today. So firstly, we need to look at primarily the residential cleaning niche within the cleaning industry. So obviously the cleaning industry is a very broad industry, as well as house cleaning, you have office cleaning, you have window cleaning, you have floor cleaning. These all would sit within the cleaning industry category. But the remote cleaning business, I think, is primarily set up for the house cleaning industry. And the way that you want to think about setting things up is that, you would hire cleaners, generally 1099 contractors, who have their own vehicles to travel from client to client and use their own products as well. Obviously, in both these cases, you would pay them more for their products and using their vehicles. And by doing this, it really allows us to have a very, I would say, light touch, relatively easier to manage business, because if you have your cleaning staff and they are responsible for their own vehicles, responsible for their own products, making sure they don't run out, making sure the products are doing a good job, then effectively we don't need to do that as the business owner. It takes away a huge admin headache. I speak to many business owners that have fleets of vehicles within the business. They have expensive leases, cars that break down, cars that need servicing. There's lots of headaches around with that. But if you pay cleaners who have their own vehicles that little bit extra to make up for them using their vehicles, then this can take away a huge amount of headache from your plate. And it really allows us to not have to have a huge number of people, a huge amount of office staff, managing the cleaning business. The cleaners themselves would use their own products, use their own vehicles. And what we do in our business is that we primarily go after recurring residential clients. So these are the clients, homeowners that are looking for a clean every week or every 2 weeks. And one of the things that we do ask our clients is to provide the main bits of equipment, the vacuum, the mop and the bucket. And 95% of the clients that get in touch with us to book service already have that in place. If they're a homeowner and they're living in the home, they will already have this equipment in their cupboards, and we go and use that. So again, what that means is that because the equipment is provided by the client at the client's property, our cleaners don't need to carry around these heavy bits of vacuum equipment going from one place to another. There's no problems if say a vacuum at one property stops working, and it means there's a knock-on effect for the other properties in the day. So the client, again, is we ask that the client provide the equipment, and obviously it's their requirement to make sure that it works as well. So again, we're taking away a huge amount of headache from our plates. So by doing this, by working with 1099 contractors that provide the vehicles and their products, and by working with clients that provide the equipment, it allows us really to fully embrace the remote cleaning model. It means that we don't need to hire additional office staff to do this for us. And in theory, if we needed those people, we could simply, employ them remotely as well. But one of the reasons why cleaning businesses historically might have had a small office would have been because there would have had to be people that would have looked after the fleets of vehicles, or helped to replenish cleaning products, or clean all the rags and all the mops and the buckets and things like that. But by using this remote cleaning model, paying the cleaners a bit extra for the products, it means that we don't need to hire these local office staff, and we don't need to have a local office either. It can be run with very few people as office staff. This is a huge benefit. We can run certainly a large multi-six-figure, even seven-figure business completely remotely by using this approach. And this is a huge benefit. It means that we don't need as many office staff. It means that more money can come to us as the business owner. So the second point to say is that without the local office, this doesn't give us any detrimental effect in terms of finding new clients and hiring new clients. Because if we double down on our house cleaning industry, we can provide quotations over the phone. We can book clients in using a scheduling software like Zenmaid. We can take their card details. We can charge the client after each cleaning. So we can use software to process the payments. And again, it doesn't require us to have any physical presence in the markets that we operate in. If, for example, we were taking a large number of our jobs as cash payment, for example, the cleaners would need to collect the cash from the client on the completion of the job, and then those cleaners would presumably need to come into the office, deposit the cash, and the office manager would need to take the cash to the bank, maybe every week, or maybe that would fall on the hands for the business owner. But in that case, with cash payment, you would probably need a local presence, some sort of local office. But in this era where card payment is the dominant force, and we can use Stripe payment processors like Stripe, we can simply take someone's card details, input that into our scheduling software, and we can automatically charge that client after the service. We don't need to have any local presence for that. There's no cash being deposited at the local bank. So the way that we take payments today means that we can run our business completely remotely. We do not need to have any local people moving physical cash around from the client to the bank itself. So the other thing to say is that the cash component of a remote cleaning business, doesn't exist. We only use card payment. So how about getting those clients on board in the first place? So we quote for jobs, house cleaning jobs, over the phone. We don't do any in-app property visits. There are still companies out there that will come and visit their home and do an in-house estimate. We don't do anything like that. We look at properties in terms of an approximate size. So we would ask a client who was asking for a quote, how many bedrooms do you have in the property? How many bathrooms in the property? How often would you like the property cleaning? And we would give that client a price based on the average of what we would see, historically. Obviously, there were going to be some clients where the properties were a lot messier. Maybe there's a big family, and if we compare that to say the same size property with a professional couple, obviously there's going to be less work to do with a professional couple. But we don't mind that. We'll take an average where that makes sense for us, where it makes sense that we're making a decent profit off the back of that. So we can quote for jobs over the phone. We do not need to do any in-home estimates. And again, this means that we don't need to have a local office. If we were doing lots of in-home estimates, if we had supervisors, if we had people pricing things up, we would probably need to have a local office where people would go and come back from, file away the estimates, all those types of things. Quoting over the phone, all you need is a phone line, and that person taking those calls could be someone in the same country. They could also be someone completely abroad as well. So quoting over the phone really works well when looking to run this remote cleaning business. The other thing and final thing I would say would be that this remote model works really well for the house cleaning business because you can use this average pricing pretty well. The issue is if you want to run a commercial cleaning business, there tends to be a lot more bespoke pricing. You know, you will likely need to go into one particular office or a car dealership or a restaurant. And the issue is it's very difficult to run an average pricing because all these properties will be very different, much more different than, say, a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom property at one end of town compared to a similar size property at the other end of town. There will be differences, but if you take the same approach and look at one office in town versus another office on the other opposite end of town, you know, with different numbers of offices, different number of floors, different number of requirements, there's a far greater chance that you won't price those commercial properties very accurately. You know, you really do need to go and visit these properties ideally to make sure that all the specific things, the specific checklists in that office would be covered off. So really focus on house cleaning, quote over the phone. It means that you do not need a local office to, you know, in the market where you are. And I think the third and final of all, you know, this remote model, and one of the big things that I love about it is that you can run it as a side hustle. You can have a 9-to-5 job and you can be running a cleaning business side by side. You know, if there's no local office, if there's very relatively little costs, you can hire a virtual assistant to take your calls. You can give them access to your phone software to take those calls. You can give them access to your scheduling software to book clients in, and that can automatically charge clients after each cleaning. So it is very achievable, and I've worked with many businesses where they do run this business remotely alongside their 9-to-5. And in my particular circumstance, what I did is I set this business up. I had a busy job, a full-time job, and I had this business run by a virtual assistant completely remotely. And I always wanted to run my business. I always wanted to be an entrepreneur because I liked the time and the financial freedom of running a business. And what I did was that I grew my cleaning business. I used the income from my my daytime job and put that into the cleaning business. And as soon as my cleaning business was making the same amount of income that my full-time day job was making, that was when I switched. That was when I jumped, and that is when I eventually went full-time into my cleaning business. And I haven't looked back since. That was 10 years ago. It provides a fantastic lifestyle for myself and my family. It provides financial freedom and time freedom and location freedom as well. So it's a great business to be in. If you like what you've heard in this video, please click the subscribe button. It really helps me. In this next video, I'm going to go into a bit more detail about how do you actually get a remote cleaning business set up? How do you get it up and running, and how do you get it growing? So I'll see you on the next one.